kids, welcome to Glen's Drum Emporium. We are still working on the Rogers kit, the 1959 kit. Ran into a couple of snags. It's like you always find something when you tear drums apart, and so I'm a little bit disappointed. So a little bit more research on it. So I'll let you know what's going on here. So the drum hoops, I peeled the inlay off. I'm going to reuse it, but I'm going to paint the hoops. The hoops are in dire need of a paint job. No use hanging on to the original paint because they've been painted once already by a previous owner, who was the original owner. So I'm only the second owner of this kit. I don't have new skins for it yet. We're going with, I believe we're going to go with the calf skin style for this. So a couple of snags. The front hoop was broken under one of the claws and it was hidden. So I had to repair that, and it's holding, it's great, but that still warrants a paint job on the hoops. We cleaned all the parts. We've cleaned the lugs, cleaned the threads. We've greased the threads. Everything goes in nice. As you can tell, I've got a period correct bass drum pedal, Rogers. I'm going to clean this up because I like things nice and neat. I don't care about patina on a foot pedal. I'm surprised. It looks like the original strap. From the pictures I've seen, that's the original strap. Kick drum sounds pretty good. That's open. I got a little bit of a muffle down here, but it's like a cannon. I can't even hit it, it's so loud. So it sounds good. Now the snags. Although this is for a cymbal holder, that is not correct for 1959. It is a Rogers holder, but it's more for this particular Rogers kit. And don't let this Rogers kit fool you either. This one has Ludwig lugs on it, and I am currently purchasing the beaver tail lugs for this. Somebody put these are actually Ludwig club date lugs. I actually have the club date kit. I just bought a whole bunch of shells off this guy, and he took these off of the club date toms and put them on here for whatever reason, just to use it. The shell is beautiful, no issues whatsoever. It's just going to have to be rewrapped. I am missing one hoop, but I do have a Rogers hoop somewhere in my collection. This one is a Rogers hoop, and it will have to be sanded and painted and new inlays put in. So I mean, this one's going to be a workhorse one. This is a later series. I do have some Rogers claws, but I don't think those are period correct to this bass drum. This bass drum is late 60s, and I believe those are early 70s. Doesn't matter. These are the type I like. Anyway, so one of the problems. This is not period correct. This was supposed to hold a snare drum, a small 6-lug snare off here, and then the tom, I don't have this bolted on right now, and then the tom mount will go on here and hold the tom and the snare. And this top piece is not period correct, but this piece is. These are swivel-matics. They got this nice little dial, and then you just take the piece out. But this is not for this vintage of kit. But this is correct. The spinner is correct. These are 2-hole holders, and they should all be 2-hole holders. That one, unfortunately, is a 4, and so is this one. So we've got some extra holes in there. And then we have this. I have no idea what this hole is for. That shouldn't be there, and it's not an air hole either. It's an air hole now, but it wasn't at the time. So I'm going to, because their air holes on Rogers are down on the side on these old vintage drums. I think what this guy was probably trying to do was put a center mount tom holder on it. Like I say, he's the original owner, and he wasn't a craftsman by any means. So I'm going to fill this in. I do have some black samples like this, and I'm going to cut it out just a bit bigger and put a wood piece in there, and it's going to be a repair job. So this drum set is not mint by any means. It was close to mint, but after seeing that, that's kind of a bummer. So I have to fill in this hole, find the original brackets for this year, which are not going to be easy, with just single holes on either side, not this hole on this. Like you can see, there's 4 here. It should just have 1 here and 1 here. So I got to fill 2 holes there and 2 holes here, which is not a bad thing. So they'll be hidden anyways. I won't have to do anything. They'll be hidden by the brackets. Now I took the inlays out. I have the inlays. Unfortunately, this guy who did the previous owner who painted these hoops took the inlays off, and then rather than file out nice the countersunk groove here where the inlay is supposed to go flat, for some weird reason he used silicone. And the one thing about silicone, you can't flatten it out, especially when it's starting to dry. So it was pretty lumpy. So I'm going to clean it all up. It is salvageable. The rim is fine. This one's fine. But the inlays, like I say, are in 2 halves, and on front and back. So we'll clean those up. I won't be able to paint the hoops this year. I don't feel like firing up my garage just to paint 2 for the heat in the garage, just to fire up. Let me say that again. Don't want to be firing up the garage just for painting 2 bass room hoops. So unless I got a whole bunch of stuff I'm going to paint, this will wait until summertime. But it sounds great. Unfortunately, the identification badge is almost all gone in this drum, but it is a Cleveland, Ohio bass drum, and so it is period to 1959, and it definitely goes with the tom. The T-rods are beautiful, very reminiscent of Gretsch. I've got a 50s Gretsch kit and a broadcaster kit, and they're like that. They're just solid metal. So I'm not a big fan of single lugs for drums, but that was the thing back then, for an option. Saves them a few bucks. That's even got the original beater. So anyways, the kit looks beautiful. Once the hoops are painted and the inlays in, it's going to look excellent. You will see when I put a piece of wood in there, round wood, glue it in. I'm going to cut, like I say, I've got some sample pieces. I'll cut a round circle and put it in there. You will see that. Not much you can do. Didn't affect the Rogers logo. The Rogers logo is still there. These brackets here, this particular one, they go for like $100. So it's crazy. So I can imagine what these single end hole pieces are. Anything to do with these Swivel-matic tom holders, they're expensive too. They're solid steel. So very innovative design. In fact, I was looking at pictures of Keith Moon's drum set. He played Premier, but all the tom holders, because Premier made bad tom holders back when Keith Moon was playing, he used to just kill his drums. All his Premier drums were switched over to Swivel-matic tom holders. They were the in thing. They were strong, could handle all the bashing. So that's the scoop for today. And that's it for the Rogers kit for now, until the weather warms up. I might recover the other Rogers bass drum this winter. It's getting crowded down here. A lot of these drums will go into storage. This Hoshino kit, like I mentioned, the finish is going to come off. It's done. It's not going to hold. I thought the repair job I was going to do, but every time it has a temperature change in the basement, and it's actually about 68 degrees down here. Every time it has a change in temperature, the finish buckles and changes. So unfortunately, my double bass copper Hoshino kit is no more. It'll be two separate Hoshino kits, which is totally fine. I'm not going to redo the original Hoshino kit that I owned since I was a kid, because the finish is good on it, no issues. A couple little dings and that, but it's going to stay like that. But this one is definitely toast. Anyways, thanks for watching.